welcome to this Wave.video tutorial. My name is Anita Wong, and in this tutorial we're going to show you how you can create the letterbox effect on your video. So the letterbox effect is generally a video style where there is a space at the top and at the bottom of your video, or on the left or the right hand side of your video, which is a specific colour of your choice. Could be to do with your brand, or it could just be black, which is like the standard, and you fill that space with text. So I'm going to show you how to create this inside the Wave.video editor. So inside the editor, the best way to create this letterbox style is to choose a format from the templates or the calendar. So we're going to show you the calendar today. So you pop into the calendar, and the calendar is full of content ideas for you. So if you ever get stuck for any ideas to put into your content, or you want some guides and some inspiration, then the calendar is a really good idea. So we're just going to jump over to this one here, and we're going to click on it. Now, most of the calendar templates come with different formats. So you can either have a horizontal, square, vertical, or story, depending on the style. But to help you understand how the letterbox style works, we're going to choose a square format. So we're going to go into Edit Template. Now, because the letterbox is a style of video, the formats can be, any format can be used to create it. So it doesn't matter what plan level you're on within the Wave.video editor, you can create the letterbox style. You can use a horizontal format or a square format, or if you really want to mix it up, you could use any of the formats available. So we'll just wait for this editor to load, and then I'll show you how quickly you can achieve the letterbox style and the little steps that you need to take to make sure that you can keep your writing in the right place. So the first thing you want to do is to click on the outside of your template. Now you can swap up the content for your own. To do that, just a reminder that you click replace, and when you click replace, you put in your keyword here to find any of the videos or images within the editor that you can use, or you can upload your own to the editor yourself, where you can actually just swap up the content like so. So you can just put anything in there. So we'll go back to the template. So what we want to do is we want to make the letterbox style visible. So to do that, you need to be working on the background, which we are, where the video is, and it can be done with an image as well. And then here, where it says zoom, you need to zoom out. So you just keep zooming out until you start to see the space at the top and the bottom of your video showing up with a color in the background. So this is what's known as the letterbox style. You can often see it as used in memes as well. They tend to use this style in memes. So you have this color band at the top, and you have a color band at the bottom. Now the editor is very clever. What it does is it chooses a color from your video or your image to choose the background. So if you were to click on the background color, you see it says project colors, video colors. So you can swap up the colors to make them your own. So if I wanted to put this pink color in, then there would be a pink color in there. So it's really up to you what sort of effect you want to create with the letterbox. So your colors in the background could be to do with your brand, or could be to do with the theme of your video. So we're going to swap back to the video colors. I'm just going to go slightly off the main color. Now the second step that you need to take is to work on the text. So at the moment, just to check what the text is doing, you click on the text because we're inside a template, and as you can see, if I were to move the text, it moves together. So it's going to be difficult for you to put this writing at the top and the bottom, but you just have to do one easy step. So you want to come over here to the text editor, and you want to scroll right to the bottom, and where the text blocks say grouped and free, you want to click free. And what clicking free does is it separates the top and the bottom line for you to move around. So as you can see, the top line now I can move to the top area, and the bottom line I can move to the bottom area. So the template has already given you 2 lines to work on. If you don't have 2 lines to work on, then you move the top line to where you want it to, and then you click this button here, which adds another line of text, and then you can move this line down, but the template that I'm using already has the 2 lines, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So then you swap up the content of the text to make it your own on both of these bands, and then the best thing to do then is to go through the rest of the template and do exactly the same as you did with the first one. Now, if you are working this completely from scratch and you've chosen your square template, when you create your first section, the best way to get the video to completely flow exactly the same is to duplicate this section. So imagine that this section and this section weren't here. You would just click this little square here which says copy block, and you just copy it, and what it does is it gives you all the formatting that you created in the first section for your second section for you to go on and create what you want. So that's how you can duplicate the formatting of the first section. Another way to make sure that your second section is the same as your first section is to remember the settings. So in the first section, the zoom is at 56%. So when you go to the second section, you check that the zoom is the same. The colouring, you can check the colouring. So you see the background starts with #free. If you go into this one, it's slightly different. So you click on the background and you can check that it's the same. So then you're basically back to checking the text. If the text is, oh, sorry, we go back to this one. If the text is grouped, then you have to come down and you have to just free up the text, move the top line to the top, like so, and the bottom line at the bottom. Now remember that, just so that you remember, if the first line you put on is at the top and you add a second line, that's the order that the lines will show. So the first line and then the second line. So if you were to put your second line at the top and your first line at the bottom, they will show differently. So your first line, if you popped it at the bottom, would show before the top, just so that you know. So the order that you put your text in is the order that it will show. And obviously you can change your text effects by clicking on this button. What I generally do with my Letterbox videos is to keep the text effect the same throughout the whole Letterbox video, so that when you play it, you don't see a change in the text at the top and the bottom. So then you go through to the third section and you swap it up the same. So again, you zoom out to 56%. So it depends on, the percentage will depend on your own picture or video. So you just make sure that you remember what you did on the first one, so that the second and third sections or fourth sections or fifth sections are the same. Then you ungroup your text. So you come down here, click free, move your top line to the top, and your bottom line, you can level it up at the bottom, like so. And then you can just carry on doing that for the rest of it. Now the call to action widget at the end, excuse me, you can't separate. So the best way to do your call to action is to actually not use the call to action widget at the end of the letterbox if you want them to be separate. Sometimes you can change it up and mix it, but you can just change this up with, just delete this, change this so it's rock with us, and just duplicate this text box. So if you duplicate the text box, it's going to be the same. And then you just change up the writing for the one that you want. So we're going to put rock with us here, and then you write your website in here. If you want it capital, so it's all the same, you click the capital button, and again up here. So then you're ready to go on with your video. So you can just play to check that it's okay. And then you can change up the music. So if you don't like the music being so loud, you can click the music band at the bottom, change the volume, so reduce that down a little bit. You can fade the music in at the beginning and out if you wish. And then all that's left is for you to publish your video by clicking the publish button. Now, depending on your plan, you can either download your video to your computer and then use it somewhere, or you can post it directly to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So that brings us to the end of this Letterbox tutorial. If you have any questions about the Letterbox tutorial, please just pop them in the comments below and we will get back to you.